shooting down in the woods. He wouldn't leave it even if he could. 'Cause life is good, yeah!
Hey, Hickok45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee, the home of Alvin York and Dolly Parton, yes, and yours truly. I always seem to remember Dolly Parton, don't I? She's just hard to forget. Very memorable. So, sorry, you youngsters, some of you young folks probably don't know who Dolly Parton is. Might not know her if you saw her. But that's okay. I'm from a different generation, but that's the cool thing about doing what we're doing. I get to stay in contact with thousands, tens of thousands of people of all ages. Of course, in addition to my teaching gig, so I'm around old folks, young folks, I guess more than anybody. Works out pretty well since I'm mentally probably about 13. So it works out quite well. I can relate to young people pretty well. I feel their pain. I come from the same perspective maybe in a lot of ways. Never did grow up. The difference between them and me is that probably they will grow up eventually. I doubt that I ever will. I haven't yet. So, but I have fun. And what else am I going to talk about today? Gosh. Got a few things, thought I might ramble about. You never know when I turn on the recorder out here in the reloading room and start rambling. Don't want to get anything too interesting, right? Nothing too, what would you say, exciting, stimulating. If anything is too good to talk about in terms of firearms, I need to be doing a video with it, right? So we have to save all the boring stuff for the radio shows. Really, I'm only half joking there. When I think about it, I was riding home from work today, and I was thinking, I think I might do a radio show this evening. Go out and hang out in the reloading room, talk to the viewers. Been getting a few messages, where's the radio shows? And I was in the mood to do it, and so I started thinking about some different things I might talk about. And I go through this every time I do, try to put together a list of a few things I might talk about. I'll come across, no, I need to do that in a vlog probably, or that's more of something I need to work into a video where more people are going to see that. There's people would be interested in that, probably seeing that in a video, or hearing me talk about that in a video sometime. So really, I'm just half joking. If it's anything too interesting or what I consider too valuable, interesting, informative, I really don't want to maybe just do it in a radio show. It's kind of what I'm getting at. Anyway, if that makes any sense. So anyway, we'll talk about some boring stuff, maybe some videos we've been doing, and that sort of thing. What am I going to talk? But speaking of riding home, I think sometimes people catch the show there, of course, on YouTube, and see me with all these guns, some of them, pretty sexy, full automatic, MP40, things like that, and, see the hundreds of thousands of views we get on some videos and everything, 1 million on some, and I maybe forget, I don't mean to sound like Elvis here or anything, but, they might, some young people or newer people to YouTube, or I don't know, just people haven't been around the block too much yet, might get the impression I'm not just a regular working stiff like the rest of you. I put in a lot of hours a day at my day job, and thoroughly enjoy that, and then come home, do some of this and preparation, and then on weekends we make a video or two, and it's just very, very, very busy, doing two huge endeavors. And just like you, I'm really busy and trying to find time to do everything. So it's just that I do admit I have a lot of fun, and am very fortunate to be involved in an endeavor where the work, quote unquote, a lot of the work is picking up another firearm, getting some ammo together, figuring out what firearm I want to shoot, and John and I figuring out what we're going to do. You know, we're going to do, what we're going to shoot, and how we might do it, and all that sort of thing. So, not exactly the kind of work one shies away from, but still, it takes time. But anyway, that's just a little personal information there, just to throw along. I get messages, and people sometimes, I think, will even leave it in a comment or something. Would like to learn more about you, Hickok, about your personal life and stuff. You know, I said, well, you know, there does have to be kind of a fence there to some extent for security reasons and everything. I don't have any deep dark secrets or anything. It's just mainly for security reasons that I have to spend so much money on security here at the compound and all that. But I mean, it's not, you can't be totally anonymous, of course. Nobody is, and it's just, you take some measure on, regarding that. But like I say, I don't really have anything to hide. It's just more or less because of what we do. We do most of it here at the compound, and where I live and everything. So we do keep things kind of private, and I don't give out too much personal information. I mean, I give you stories and things, and don't mind doing that. Maybe I'll write that book here one of these days, and reveal all, a tell-all biography. How would that be? I was going to make up some stupid story there. I won't do that. I don't know. What am I going to talk about? Let me quit rambling quite so much, even though that's what this is for, rambling. Been doing some cool videos lately. I hope you're catching them. Obviously somebody is, right? The MP40s were a lot of fun. That, having a couple of them and having those all day, and doing 3-4 videos with them. You'll still see some more stuff trickle out with the MP40s. We did something about a year ago, I guess, a short video, and have been getting messages ever since to do more with an MP40, and that was on our schedule, radar. We wanted to do that, to do an actual video, an MP40 video. Occasionally we'll get a hold of something where we have time to do just kind of a teaser or a short fun thing with something, like we did with the MP40s about a year ago. We shot a barrel water up, which is fun and really neat to see and watch and do, but we don't want to just do that kind of stuff, of course, and we don't if it's one of our own firearms. But sometimes we just don't have everything with us. I don't have any Class 3 firearms of my own right now. And so anyway, that was on the radar. We wanted to get the MP40 back and actually show you a little more about it, take it apart and everything, which we did. One of the cool things about any type of firearm is seeing a little bit about how it works. I think maybe how it comes apart, at least to the point where it's field stripped, and you can see what makes the thing run, how it's different maybe from some other firearms, and the basics. You can always go study and learn a lot more about firearms than I give you. We try to reach a happy medium there. If I stood there for, I don't know, 10 minutes and just talked to you about a gun too much, that gets a little too much for some people. And so we try to give a balance there of action and talking or history of a firearm, just kind of the essentials with a little bit more, I guess, because we really don't worry about it if it's a 20-minute video, 25-minute video while we're doing that. The rundowns are what we catch the attention deficit people with. Just kidding, really. That's and I've talked about that before. The rundowns we created kind of for that purpose. Okay, let's just do a quick and dirty video on some of these firearms. People would probably enjoy that, and they enjoy the others too. But there's a place for that as well. And so we try to meet every need. We try to reach every viewer, and do a lot of things, and I enjoy all of them. That's the thing. I sound like I'm Mr. Marketing Manager. I thoroughly enjoy doing really everything we do with a particular firearm. I enjoy the close-ups. They're a blast. They're simple, they're easy, and they're fun. You get a good look at the firearm. And I like the regular videos, of course. The fact that they're mostly unedited makes it more fun. It makes it more realistic for me. If you've ever done anything like that, where you're taking little clips, short clips here and there, and piecing them together or whatever, you know what I mean. It's you end up with a really nice product at the end, a very interesting video, but the actual process of it is very fragmented. No pun intended, but it's just you don't it's just different. We did that music video with Steve Lee, a year and a half ago, and hopefully you've seen that. That's on his channel. I think I have it favorited on mine, the Hickok45 song, and that was like that. It was fun doing it, but it was it's just all cut and a little piece here. Okay, now stand here and we'll do this and then we'll do that. The same with the pumpkin thing that the local news media did. If you've seen that, I have a link to that on my feed. If you haven't seen that, it's probably knocked down 8 or 10 notches there, with other things being posted or whatever. But one of the local stations came out, and I trusted them to do what they said they wanted to do, and they did a special on the pumpkin carving, and I carved another one for them, and a lot of you have seen that. So that was kind of the same way, just little pieces here and there. It's kind of weird doing that. So I enjoy a regular video. Very, very fortunate that you all like those, because that's why I love to do it. Just stand there and move there, whatever I do, take the gun apart, and not have to worry about being perfect or too slick, and just having some targets set up, talk about a gun, shoot it, talk about it, shoot it, talk about it, shoot it, and then wrap it up. Just works out well for me. But enjoy that. I enjoy the chapter 2s, my gosh, just everything we do, and the rundowns. For one thing, the rundowns, I guess for the most part, so far at least, they are firearms that we had already done several videos with, and I think almost in every case they were firearms I was itchy to get back out and do a video. Of course, I can get them out anytime and shoot, but I don't know, doing a video is fun, and getting a lot of requests for them too. Hey, when are you going to do another video with the old 45 Colt replica or the Model 29? Someone had a posting on that the other day. The Model 29. Won't you do a rundown with it? Or what? People want to see some of these guns again, even if we've done 5 or 6 videos with them, and I do too. I want to get them back out and shoot them, and kind of look for an excuse to do a video with it. Well, it's like, because I know I'm getting requests to see it again, and so it's one of those weird things. One thing you might have noticed, John and I, we tend not to just turn on the camera at the drop of a hat. And I think that's one reason the channel's done well. We do want to have a worthwhile idea, a video concept, a genre of some sort to justify, getting a gun out again. We're doing it another video, and so it's all worked well, pretty well. That rundown, I think, fills a niche right there, and then that's great. It gives me an excuse to get guns back out, and it gives viewers something a little different, and another look at a gun, kind of a quicker and a dirty look at a gun, with the basic history of it and what it is, how it shoots, and get through it in less than 8 or 10 minutes. And it's funny, someone will always comment, "Wow, what's wrong, Hickok? You look like you're in a hurry. What was the rush? Or you forgot to mention this?" Or so I am a little bit of a hurry. I mean, it's like, why do it if it's going to be just another regular video? So I have to get my mind right and say, okay, this is an 8-minute video, and we're going to go with it. So I do seem like I'm in a hurry, I guess. But anyway, I enjoy all the videos we do, and we did several with the MP40. You'll be seeing some more stuff from them. So full auto, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? And as I've talked about before, I like full auto firearms, select fire. They are a blast. But some of you folks, young people, or people who've not shot select fire weapons, firearms, it's really cool, but it's not probably as cool as you might think it is if you've not done it. It is fun, but you know, you don't see me with any, right? I mean, that should tell you something. I had an Uzi for 10 years, and I would get it out every now and then. And I kind of wish I still had it. Someone made me an offer on it. I couldn't refuse. Sorry, I sold it, really. If John had been just a little bit older, he'd never let me sell it. He would never have let me get that thing out and sell it to somebody. And, you know, well, somebody. It was to a dealer. And, but, you know, I enjoy just as much, you know, good old Smith & Wesson double-action revolver, or a 1911, or a Glock, or a bolt gun, single shot of some sort. I've had a couple of different Sharps Buffalo rifles, you know, single shots. And, I mean, you know, they're just, all these firearms are just really interesting in their own way. It does not take fully automatic fire to get me excited about shooting. You can probably tell that, right? So anyway, other videos we've done, the AUG, the AUG, the Steyr, that's a neat little gun. It is very strange design, and I can see a real place for those. You know, I can just imagine. Think about World War II or any time now, current military guys, gals. If you're a tanker or you're in a situation you need a short, you know, carbine or rifle, you get, that thing is about as short as it gets, and you have, as I mentioned in the video, you have a 20-inch barrel on that sucker, and I believe a 16 and maybe even a 14 is available for it. You know, so you basically have the full ballistic power of whatever the caliber is, and that one, it's a 5.56, that you have with the M4 or bigger, you know, the A2, you know, out there, you know, in combat. You could have in your vehicle and have a really handy little firearm. You know, it's small, but it's essentially no different when you're shooting it. So I don't know. They're very expensive. I don't know if there are any of them that are not. Maybe a few. That Steyr AUG AUG is very pricey, and I think some of the others. I've noticed the FN, was it FN 2000 or F2000 or something. That's an interesting looking one too, but I think most of these things are around a couple of grand, so you have to really want one, and it is so different. You know, it's just not something you just happen upon. Yeah, I'll take one of those. You have to really want it. Pretty expensive, and different enough that it just might not fit with what, you know, your preferences are. If you're not needing one to maneuver around inside a tank or an armored truck, you know, next week. But they are cool. You know, I don't know what else. Oh, yeah, we did a little bit with the SCAR. We'll roll that out here one day. Nothing too exotic, but again, another excuse to get that baby out, that SCAR 17. Well, it was a close-up. I'll go ahead and tell you. Someone, in fact, had, I don't know, posted a comment or written me that they'd like to see a SCAR 17 close-up recently, and yeah, you know what? We haven't done one, have we? That would be fun. That'd give me an excuse to get that thing back out. So, you know, there you go. I just thoroughly enjoy these guns and am looking for a chance and an excuse to shoot them. So we did, and John and I both really like that thing. Still thinking about a different muzzle brake. That muzzle brake is so loud. You know, again, I don't care if it is not as effective. I'll take that. I'll handle it. But I am going to look more into switching. If anyone out there has had that experience of replacing the muzzle brake on your SCAR 17 successfully, and you have one on there that is not quite so crazy and blast and everything, you like it, like the looks of it, you know, let me know. I'm gonna switch that out, but it's pretty neat. Cool gun. Wow. I guess we've about posted all of our summer videos. Some of you may have noticed, and this happens every year, and we have more time in the summer to make videos, so we usually have a few ahead by the time I go back to work. And so, and we look at what we've done. We try to do something every weekend, and as I've discussed before, we don't want to post 3 close-up videos, consecutively for you. That wouldn't make a lot of sense, even if we had 3 close-ups we've done. So we try to space things out and balance them out. If we've done a couple of AR-15 videos or something, and we've got a lever gun video we did, we're going to put it between those, that sort of thing, just common sense stuff. And so whenever we have a lot of videos, even if we have a couple we did a month ago or 2 months ago, we're still putting them into that mix thing. Okay, what makes the most sense to post next? So some of you are accustomed to that, but if you see a video that looks like, wow, where'd that come from? There's a it's spring, and the leaves are changing now. How'd they do it? So don't have any of that old, but we've got a couple. I think we have a couple we still did. We did back in August maybe. So you'll see some green leaves. Don't despair. Just think about it, and you'll understand why. But then by the same token, we may do a video this Saturday and post it Saturday. So you never know what you're gonna see. Most of the time, it's not that long, since we the time between when we make a video and then post it. For some reason, I was just reminded of someone who either posted a comment or wrote me. I don't recall which it was. It's been a month or 2 ago, I guess, but it was on about a radio show, quote unquote. And wrote a paragraph about how useless and the rambling, the time could have been spent doing something useful in a video, or I don't know what all the guy said now. I forgot what it was. But he thought that my talking about the things I talked about were just so inane and useless and everything. I mean, all I could answer him was, you think? Yeah, you're right. Which kind of goes back to what I said earlier. Anything we do that's pretty exciting, if there is anything like that, or really informative, we'll put it in a video, don't you think? So this is where I go out here to the reloading room to just ramble and talk about things, and maybe you get to know me a little bit better for those that want to. I think usually there's 10, 20,000 people that eventually listen to these things, and they write me all the time about them, how they love them, how they want me to continue doing it, and if I don't do it, I'm hearing from them. So you're the people I'm talking to and that I'm doing this for. But of course, obviously, somebody's going to stumble in, and maybe a new viewer, expecting they go from the MP40 dual wielding to a radio show. And I guess that's just too much contrast for them. Whoa, what is this? This is not even a video. There's some stupid picture on my computer screen that doesn't change, and this idiot is just talking to himself or something. So it's funny. But one of the things I guess that is a trademark of our channel, as much as anything, is we just do a little bit of everything, and a part of that has come from requests, things that you just seem to want or like once we do it. This was John's idea to do this radio show a couple years ago, actually. And, so enough people seem to like it, so we just keep doing it. I come out every now and then and ramble. I started out doing it every week, and it got to be a little too much for me. I felt like it was an obligation, and I truthfully enjoy it more now, even if you don't hear from me for a month doing it. I'm in the mood to do it, like right now. I come out and make a couple of a list of a couple of items and just start talking. I enjoy it this way. I really do. When there's no pressure at all to do it, just like the videos, just whenever we want to or have time, and so we just do it. That makes it better. It makes anything better if it's more voluntary, right? I had a note here. I might talk about the 40 caliber, short and weak. That was the note I made. I'm still a little, not surprised, but I'm a little amused, I guess, whenever I see people make that comment about the 40 short and weak and everything. And really, that started out back in 1990 or whenever it came out. I think probably because it was compared immediately with the 10 millimeter. And of course, compared with the 10 millimeter, it is shorter and weaker. 10 millimeter is a powerhouse. But I guess it's because I don't look at it the same way. And I'm not here to praise the 40 Smith & Wesson, 40 caliber above everything else necessarily. Pistol calibers are all underpowered. If you're thinking of, blowing a zombie away and all the bad guys and all the fantasies you might have. And handguns are just weak. Anybody who's hunted knows that. Now, I've done very little hunting, and I think I may have told you about my experience shooting a groundhog go back in the really early 70s when I did a little bit of hunting of varmints, and with a 44 Magnum, and being surprised it took 5 or 6 shots to stop that rascal. So I've had a little bit of experience with that. I did shoot a few groundhogs, shot a couple of groundhogs with a 50 caliber muzzleloader, Hawken rifle too. Same thing. One of them took another shot to finish him off, and he'd been hit with a 50 caliber ball. So it's not like in the movies. Now, it might be. You pop something in the head, but the central nervous system. But generally speaking, any handgun, you're already underpowered. So it's kind of like arguing about stopping a charging bull with a big rock or a medium-sized rock. You have to get real and think realistically. So I don't see all the criticism of the 40 again, unless you're comparing it with 44 Magnum or maybe even 10 millimeter. But of your more popular carry cartridges, more acceptable ones, the 9 millimeter, the 40, the 45, I guess are the most common. They're all fine. With a 40 and versus I carry a 9 sometimes. I carry a Glock 19 sometimes, or 26, or 23, or 27. Lots of times it's just kind of a why not. Like for example, the gun of the show. Where is it? Oh yeah, there it is in my belt. I stuck in my belt coming out here. I just got my Glock 23. One of them. Yep, there it is. The Gen 4 happen to have. I just picked it up, and it's just one of my go-to guns. And I have no problem with the Glock 19, the 9 millimeter. But it's just kind of a why not. It's a little bit bigger, and you still have high capacity and shoots well, and so no real problem with either one. And if you're a person out there, there are a lot of people out there trying to figure out what caliber to get as well as what firearm to get. Just get a 9 or a 40, and you're fine. If you go to a 45, that's a fine too, but just be aware that there's going to be a limitation of some sort. And by limitation, I mean you're going to give up capacity or you're going to increase size. I don't know any way around that. Physics are what they are. You just can't get 13 45 cartridges in this Glock 23 and keep this gun the same size exactly. It's just no one's been able to figure out how to do that. You can get a firearm that's about this size in a Glock 36, but you know what you have. In fact, it is this size. If you've seen the video I did on the Glock 36, it is the size with the magazine in it of the Glock 19 or Glock 23. And yes, you've got a 45, the same size that I'm holding right now. But you know what the limitation is. It's 5 plus 1 or 6 plus 1? I don't know. So you have almost half the cartridges, half the capacity. So you do have half. I believe it's 6 plus 1, and of course with the Glock 23 here you have 13 plus 1. Half of 14 is 7. I'm a genius. Okay, so you have about half the capacity, and then if you have the XDS, which I like, and then actually carry that some, it is again small capacity. It's a small gun. It's actually smaller than this gun. but you have you have that capacity issue. If that doesn't bother you, fine. So you're giving up something. The 40 is just, I'll tell you, it's the way they promoted it when it came out. I mean, it's still the truth that you have a bigger caliber and the same size gun as a 9. You still have high capacity, and that was one of the attractions back when it came out. I recall it well, and it still is one of the attractions to me. So anyway, just a little word there about the 40. Maybe not the best one out there. I do believe it has served a lot of police departments, very well, as well as anything else that they're using. So my little apology here for the 40 shortened week. How's that? I will add one thing to that. I have noticed, it's been my observation through reading, people I've known, competed with, expert gun writers, and just different folks. Not in every case, but a generalization I've noticed is that the more savvy a gun person is, and the better shot they are, the more accomplished they are with handguns, the less the caliber seems to matter to them. Okay? If that makes any sense. I really, with so many times I see that. And I've read of some really top-notch trainers and just different folks that maybe they're quite pleased with a 9 to carry, and just different. It not always, but lots of times, it's someone who probably doesn't shoot 100 rounds a month that's obsessed, with the caliber and giving you a hard time for carrying a 9mm. Just my take on that. I get a lot of great messages, of course. I get a lot of messages. That's something I need to do a video on and talk about that. I don't get to everybody in these radio shows. I don't talk too much about it, I guess, but I really got to get people to shorten their messages and make their questions more clear. And I'm just getting overwhelmed here, but I get some really cool communications. That's the thing. I don't know. I know some YouTubers apparently just kind of ignore a lot of that, but I read them all and I answer most of them. I'm talking about messages, private messages. I don't see all of them on videos, and I can't answer all that, and I never get over the Facebook, seems like. But when people write me a message, private message on YouTube, I read it, every single one, and answer most of them. Again, if they're a recommendation, I just make a mental note on recommendations for firearms to review, and no matter how they phrase it. Like, have you done it? When are you going to do it? Have you thought about it? I don't answer those. I just make a mental note, because what they're saying is, it's all eggs survive. I can't answer everything. Well, yes, I have contemplated the notion of maybe doing one of those guns, but currently I don't own. I can't, get, so I take a note of whatever is recommended, and appreciate those, and that's really effective, actually. Because if I get a lot of them on a certain gun, it puts that one on my radar more, and doesn't mean I'll have one, but if somebody offers to lend us one, or I see one at a great price, or something, and then it's more likely to show up on the channel. But where I was going is I get obviously some really, great messages from people, and very complimentary and flattering about what we do. And one message, one theme that keeps coming through is, I guess a lot of folks I'll start to say something stupid. Can you imagine that? I start saying a lot of folks that have a family. Well, everybody comes from a family, but maybe people who have a son, or they've done something with their dad. But a lot of folks will make the comment about how great it is that John and I work together on this project, and they enjoy seeing that and how that goes and everything. And maybe it's because they never did get to hang out with their dad, or they don't get to hang out with their son as much as they'd like to. So all those things. But and it is true. It is true. I was going to say a couple things about it. I don't know what I'll say. Poor John had better be, his ears will be turning red as I talk about this. But But it is good, it is cool, and I take it for granted, I guess. I'll tell you one reason I don't really take it for granted. I'm well aware of how cool it is and how lucky I am, and how lucky he is, because I was fortunate to have parents and mom and dad, and get to spend some time with them. But we were never involved in anything like this, a project together. And I used to help Dad. I work with him some, and vice versa. But nothing, of course, like this. But it is cool. And the reason I say it, sometimes take it for granted, is that we've been hanging out together since the day he was born. And I helped in the birthing room, so I was the first to hold him, and and he's been hanging on to my leg. I still think of him and going into gun shops or Walmart or wherever it is with him hanging on to my leg, a little blonde-headed guy, 3 feet tall, 4 feet tall as he grew up, and our just hiking around the farm here his whole life, and just doing stuff together, and raising our dogs, and taking care of our golden retrievers and the cats, and shooting, and just doing everything together. So it's more or less just like it never did really end, and so I'm almost surprised when people notice that and make such a big deal out of it. It reminds me, oh, that's right, this is a little different, isn't it? I need to be aware of how lucky I am that this has worked out the way it has, and that we're doing this together, and we're partners, of course, in every way, business-wise, and as just two guys collaborating on the project. So, yeah, it is really cool. And as I've told him several times, if this thing ends tomorrow, it has really been cool, hasn't it? 4 years at least we have done this, and weekly, several days in a row lots of times, but every week. We probably not missed a week in 4 years, putting together a video, planning something, thinking about it, shooting something, just working out what we're going to do, and hanging out here in the field or in the woods on the range, doing something. So yeah, that is pretty cool. And again, if it ends tomorrow, it was a great run and something really special. So I'm well aware of that, and hopefully many of you have that same kind of opportunity to do something with your munchkins and your dad. If you're young enough and lucky enough to still have your father or mother, hopefully you get to do some things with them. So it works both ways, doesn't it? But anyway, it is cool. You are right. Everybody that comments on that is right on target, because it's pretty cool. I think that's one thing that makes me a little sad when I see some of the horrible language or the just horrible troll behavior that you see on the internet, and some of it on our videos, not as much maybe as other places, and some of it maybe coming from young people, and not all of it, that's for sure. But I just don't think John probably ever did that in his life. Not that he's perfect, not that I'm perfect, but it's just, I just wonder where a teenager, at least that comes from teenagers. A lot of it comes from adults, but what's going on that would motivate them to just spit out all that just horrible stuff at people, just for fun sometimes, or just to see it in print, or just to try to get a reaction. You have to wonder what their home life must be like, maybe, or maybe they don't have any friends, don't know, or maybe they just get a kick out of doing it and they've got lots of friends. Maybe they're sitting there with their friends doing it. I don't know, but you still have to wonder what might be missing at home. Maybe some time with mom or with dad, or at the bowling alley or something a little more constructive than just browsing around the internet looking for people to insult. There's got to be more to life than that, hopefully. And of course, most of them will grow out of that. Not everybody. Like I say, it's not all from teenagers, is it? But yeah, you just have to wonder. You wish you could just like talk to them sometimes. These kids, just, hey guy, come on now, get a life, calm down, and do something constructive, and you're more likely to get some constructive feedback and some help from, especially shooters, if you just be sensible. And of course, adults can be impatient, and I know that one of the common criticisms that people like to throw around when there's some reference to a game, is all kinds of things about the game players and get lost and that kind of thing. And as I've said before, we need to try to have some patience with that, because those are the shooters of tomorrow. Doesn't give anybody an excuse to be obnoxious, even if they're 13 or 12 or 16. That is for sure. But young people, if anybody young is listening to this, I think you'll find that you will get a lot of assistance from shooters, because most of us are smart enough to know that we need to get you involved in real shooting and help educate you, so that you'll be joining a range and taking real guns out and handling them properly, and enjoying the hobby, becoming a firearms enthusiast, even if all you do is play with them on screen right now. That's okay. A lot of adults do that. I've just never been a big game player myself. I try to understand that I know that's an addictive thing. People love it, adults, young people alike. It's just a lot of fun, and it's so realistic. I think if they had been that realistic when I was younger, I would probably have been playing them too. But the games are not what I'm talking about. Just the young folks. You just try to be sensible online if you can, and people will answer your questions. And it's okay if you don't know something. If don't worry about asking a stupid question. It's just out of ignorance, which is understandable. If you don't know what a cylinder is, or you don't know what a chamber is, or don't know the difference between a .44 Magnum and a 9mm, there's no reason for you to know that necessarily. Now, a lot of things you could learn through Google, right? You can find a lot of that and maybe ask a more intelligent question, but that's okay. As long as you're respectful, people are going to give you an answer, and likewise, you have to understand, if you're 15 or you're 13 or you're 18, whatever, you've got friends who are obnoxious, probably, right? You probably know someone in your circle of friends who is terribly impatient and is nobody you really want to hang out with too much. Well, there are going to be adults like that too. They're going to seize the moment to jump on you and say something stupid, try to insult you. That's just don't be too thin-skinned, and try to just not pick your battles, but pick your questions maybe a little bit more carefully, and realize that you are in a forum, generally, if you're in one of these shooting videos, where there are going to be a lot of people that know a lot more than you do, probably, and then there are going to be some who think they know a lot more than everybody. But anyway, we're perfectly willing to help you, and we want you to become a shooter and a constructive, contributing member of society and shooting sports. It occurred to me I was going to mention something about the pumpkin carving video. I guess since I did the last radio show, all the pumpkin carving has taken place. We were surprised again this year. Last year, the pumpkin carving video did fine, and there were a few news outlets that picked it up here and there, as usual, and everything. But this year, for some reason, it was like that was all new again. It is the funniest thing. 2 years ago, I guess, was when the first pumpkin carving video really took off. We'd done it before that too, but you just never know. But this year, we said, well, we've got to do our pumpkin carving video, which we did, and did a little bit earlier than we normally do it. But lo and behold, because we usually end up waiting too long, and it's 2 too dark to get it done during the week, and it's the weekend of Halloween, and we've got to get that pumpkin carving, and we ought to get it up before Halloween, so we end up posting the thing a few days before or something. So we actually did it on a weekend early this year. But anyway, surprise, surprise, the world needed some pumpkin carving instruction again, of all things. Who knew? Because that crazy thing, it wasn't any better than any of the others, but well, you saw, a lot of you told me where it was showing. I don't know where it's showing your local TV stations, but I must have heard from every nook and cranny of the country this year that, a local TV station was airing that video or pieces of it. It was just phenomenal. It was just strange that they would pick that up. It would be picked up again. I didn't see a lot of them, of course, but some of the things that come to mind that people posted about, it was on HLN, it was on numerous local TV stations around the country, San Diego, Florida, Detroit, New York, just all over the place, and then websites all over the place, and all over the planet, and blogs and things, and then on Fox News on The Five, Greg Gutfeld showed it again. He showed it on Red Eye. It just popped up all over the Inside Edition. Somebody said it was on there. I didn't see it. But isn't that funny how videos go? John and I are just continually amazed and surprised. Sometimes how a video just doesn't do maybe all that well that you think people will really like it. That doesn't happen very often. Or some video that it's just kind of normal video will just get more views. And then those of you who do videos know what I'm talking about. You might do a video today, post it, and it just does reasonably well. But then for some reason, 6 months from now, it just starts going crazy. So who knows what all the logic is? But we were surprised by the pumpkin carving again. Another round of pumpkin carving this fall. Surely by now the world understands that my method of pumpkin carving is the best method of pumpkin carving. Knives and swords and things like that, that's just a thing of the past. Firearm is the way to carve a pumpkin. You would think after posting these for 4 years the world would know. We'll do another one next year, but we expect people of the planet to by now have gotten the message. This is the way you carve a pumpkin. If they want to make a big deal out of it again, that's fine. But one of these days, everybody's going to finally understand how to do it. And our pumpkin carving videos are just going to be boring and like, why are you doing that? That's what everybody does. I don't know. You can tell I ramble too long. Okay, I better get out of here. And it's been good rambling at you and chatting with you. And like I say, the gun of the show was one of my old trusty Glock 23s. Can never go wrong with that. And hope you get a chance to shoot some this week, or fondle a gun, purchase a gun, find some ammo, and do something with it. I bought some ammo this week. I'll tell you, we buy so much ammo. Wow. But, contribute to the sport in any way you can, and to the endeavor, and to the cause, the gun rights cause. It's just, more important than ever that we keep that going strong, because we're getting a lot of people into the shooting sports, and we need most of them involved in supporting the gun rights and doing what they can with whatever organization, local, national, and because down the road there's going to be pressure against us one way or the other. We know that. That's always there. There's always bills being proposed. There are the people who do not like firearms and do not think we have the right to own them, who interpret the Second Amendment the way they want to. They don't see it as an individual right. And one of these days, they're going to get enough people on the Supreme Court to agree with them. These recent decisions, the Heller and the McDonald, like 5-4, So we're very close to going the other way with that, and so it's fragile. It may not seem fragile, but sadly to say, our rights actually can be fragile in this regard. So do what you can, and hopefully we'll stay free and be able to enjoy this great sport. Y'all have a good week. You've been listening to the Hickok 45 radio show. See you on the range.